Hello everybody. So today I want to go over the valuation of 5 hypergrowth solar stocks, because these solar stocks right now, they are a great deal. It's been a few months where they consistently keep going down. The market is selling them off because the market thinks that nobody's going to get solar because of interest rates, which is such a shortcut of the market. I am accumulating solar stocks and researching solar stocks much more than I was even 6 months ago right now, because of these steep discounts that we are seeing across the boards. And it's through no fault of their own. It's through no fault of these companies that there are discounts right now. There's this big discount. So let me go ahead and go through all 5 of these stocks, knowing that, noteworthy here, I have 2 new stocks in this spreadsheet, which is Tigo Energy and Canadian Solar, believe it or not. It's been recommended multiple times in the section. So I have Canadian Solar, and you'll see Canadian Solar and Tigo are the 2 cheapest stocks. They're very cheap, very, very cheap for companies that are in such a mega trend, the energy mega trend, right? The input of modern day economy is energy. Energy is so essential to everything we do. Energy is getting revolutionized, and we have these companies in very meaningful sectors who are trading close to a stock like StoneCo and HIMS, and energy is fundamental. The industrial revolution, the service industry we live in would not have happened without energy, and so which is why I'm always stunned to see this future. This bright future, in my view, trading at such low valuations. Anyways, let me get started with Enphase. So Enphase is a stock which, it's in my view, my humble opinion, the highest quality stock in solar, the highest quality stock in all of the spreadsheet. S&P 500, just like SolarEdge, stellar growth, the second highest return of the S&P 500 is Enphase. It is right behind Tesla, behind Tesla. And what Enphase is the leading microinverter manufacturer. And the data that I've seen says about 99%, which is crazy to think that a company could have about 99%. But if you look at the competition of Enphase, it's true that they're tiny players, like AP Systems. And oftentimes the tiny players that compete against Enphase, what they manufacture is not pure microinverters. For example, they have a microinverter, but they'll put 2 panels on a microinverter. Anyway, these are all of the minor details, but Enphase, for example, we know Enphase is already working on the IQ 10s, right? And we have the IQ 8 versions. This is a company, in my view, that's always going to stay ahead of AC coupled systems. And you may know, if you follow solar, there's these big discussions. Is AC coupled better than DC coupled? And this is an ongoing theme. And in this spreadsheet, if you look, Enphase and Sunpower are both AC coupled systems, right? SolarEdge and Canadian Solar would be DC coupled systems. And Tigo, it focuses entirely on optimizers, right? Technically DC coupled, but where they focus entirely on optimizers. So I would put them out almost of these conversations. And this is a debate that we're going to continue having. I personally believe AC coupled is better, but when I look at the valuation of DC coupled companies, it gets very compelling. Like even SolarEdge, when I see the valuation for SolarEdge, I am compelled to even take a little position in SolarEdge at these levels, right? SolarEdge is dirt cheap. It's a company that's predicted to grow about the same speed as Enphase, right? About the same speed as Enphase, but it's almost twice as cheap per my spreadsheet. So anyways, noteworthy for both SolarEdge and Enphase here is that both of these companies are still seeing outstanding growth in Europe, although the growth of Enphase in Europe is bigger than the growth of SolarEdge in Europe, because Enphase is still brand new in Europe. So Europe is a very bright spot, very bright market right now. And there's a little bit of a slowdown in the USA. I will call this a slowdown in shipments of microinverters to distributor. That's what I mean by the slowdown, because I follow a lot of installers on YouTube, and I follow a lot of installers on Twitter, And in the field right now, in my view, it looks like solar is picking up. This is September. September is the moment where electric rates go through the roof in the US, and a lot of people are getting their electric bills for August, and they're very upset. And they're getting solar, and this is a perpetual loop of sales where a homeowner gets a crazy, $500-$600 electric bill, and they say, okay, I'm done. $500-$600 of electric bill. I remember 15 years ago when I was a student, XYZ place, that's what I was paying for rent, and now I'm paying this for electricity. That's the train of thought that a lot of these buyers have, and they're replacing their electric bill, which is going to increase. They're replacing that bill with most often a loan payment, a loan payment. And what we've seen in the solar space is really the way they've coped with these interest rates recently is that they just have longer duration loans. Actually, I've seen many installers in the space offer 25 years loans, very, very long duration loans. And they're like, okay, I'm just going to replace it with a loan. The system has a 25-year warranty. Let me get a 25-year loan. And as a result of that, I can get a really, really good system that entirely cuts me off the grid if I ever want to, and a system that I'm going to be able to grow into, a system that is going to be able to power my electric cars, that is going to be able to resell to the grid. Anyways, a real system. And Enphase, last thing I'll say about Enphase, and it's so cheap. And this is one of the reasons why this stock is so expensive, is because, in my view, they're on track to overwhelmingly benefit from the IRA subsidies. I've made multiple videos about this. The IRA is going to be a cash cow for them. It's not even funny. 11 cents per watt worth of microinverter manufactured. And so if you calculate how much money they're going to make, it's quite stunning, quite outstanding. In fact, every way I calculated, their microinverters, in my view, with the scale that they're going to achieve, it's likely that 80% in my view, of the cost of manufacturing microinverters will be covered by IRA subsidies. So this is a company, is going to be a hardware business, but we're going to see that gross margin go way up because it's essentially the US government is going to be paying for manufacturing of these microinverters. It's noteworthy to say that microinverters are getting 11 cents of watt per watt. These things. Solar is sold per watt, by the way. If you're new to the solar industry, the price of solar is always discussed per watt. So when we talk about a microinverter, we mean on a per watt price. Microinverter, they're gonna get 11 cents per watt. Central inverters, i.e. string inverters like SolarEdge, they're only getting 6.5 cents per watt. So even the US government has chosen microinverters as the technology to go. So anyways, let me move on now to SolarEdge. And as I've said, I am actually warming up to SolarEdge, and frankly, it's mostly the valuation that right now. That valuation is ridiculous. We're getting into a valuation, for example, in my spreadsheet, which is about the value of a SoFi. Which SoFi is a dirt cheap stock. If you follow the stock market, you may know SoFi is extremely cheap. We're getting to that valuation here. Except SolarEdge is in the S&P 500. Except SolarEdge is one of the top 10 performers. I'm not saying SoFi is not going to be. Don't get me wrong. I love SoFi. But SolarEdge is in the top 10 performers for the S&P 500 in the last 10 years. This is a company that has had stellar growth. This is a company that has a major market in Europe, and Europe is doing very well for them. This is Enphase's, main rival. Frankly, in my view, they're kind of in a duopoly between Enphase. These two companies compete. They really, really do compete. They fight each other. Enphase will say I have a better system. SolarEdge will say I have the better system. They will say they keep. They stay on each other's toes all the time. If that makes any sense. These two companies really compete head to head. SolarEdge is the leader in central inverters. SolarEdge is a pioneer in optimizers. Optimizers are these little boxes that you put under solar panels that allow you, well, frankly, it's mostly to comply with code nowadays, because nowadays, and that's the reason why Enphase really was successful, is that nowadays in most places you want to have either an optimizer or just a microinverter. If you just have a microinverter, you don't have these issues, but you want to have a shutoff at the level of a solar panel, and it's necessary to have that shutoff in case of a fire, in case of any sort of emergency, so that essential services can get to your house. Because one of the problems in early day installs, early day string inverters, is that you would have electric power, you would have 5,000 watts during the day. And you could not shut it off because you didn't have a shut off at the power level. So you ended up with if there's a fire in the house, unfortunately it's going to burn. There's nothing you can do because you can't get on the roof and firefighters can't intervene on the house. So it's even common sense that they have either optimizers or micro inverters. And SolarEdge came up with optimizer solution. My main criticism, which you've heard many times on this channel, is that installing an optimizer under each panel, in addition to installing a central inverter at the level of a family's garage, of a house garage, to me is a very redundant way of doing things. In my view, it's more opportunities for failure. That's one of the big problems. Another big problem, in my view, is that central inverters, the warranty is only 12 years, so they are more likely to break. But there's a few things that are great for central inverter systems, and it is for cost-sensitive buyers. And so if you put warranty head to head, if you were to compare SolarEdge and Enphase with similar warranties, in my view, most often the cost is going to be the same, if not a slighter edge for Enphase, because of that warranty and because of the price of extending the warranty with SolarEdge. But if you're going to go see a prospective buyer of solar and they only care about price, SolarEdge is going to be a little bit cheaper. Not a lot cheaper, a little bit cheaper. And so they are more likely to lose SolarEdge because, of course, if a solar system is a little bit cheaper, it could be $1,000, $2,000 worth of savings, and people are compelled to choose SolarEdge. There is also recent installer video that I've watched, that I've tweeted about, which is the fact that a lot of installers think that they make a little more money when they install a SolarEdge system. And so you have a lot of installers that will try to push SolarEdge because they have more incentives, a little more financial incentives, right? Not warranty incentives, not customer service, but financial incentives to install SolarEdge. So, anyways, it's a duopoly. SolarEdge is not going anywhere. I believe Enphase as the better technical solution, and I am slowly becoming compelled to buy Enphase, even though I gotta say my main reason for buying Enphase is that valuation. That valuation is getting ridiculous. SolarEdge is getting twice as cheap as Enphase. Is SolarEdge twice as bad as Enphase? I don't think so. I don't think it's as good as Enphase, but I don't think it's twice worse than Enphase. And if you were to look at enterprise value over sales, the market is almost telling you it's 3 times worse than Enphase. I definitely don't think SolarEdge is 3 times worse than Enphase. I am positive about both companies, more positive about Enphase, but I'm looking at SolarEdge right now. Anyways, I remember. Let me move on. Let me move on to Tigo. Tigo Energy TYGO Solar. Tigo, 96% of your business is optimizers. Optimizers, like I said, are these little boxes that you put under each solar panels. In my view, mostly for compliance, but there's other advantages, like individual solar panel level monitoring. You can monitor your production for each solar panel. That's a big advantage. Each solar panels acts at their own system. That's another big advantage. And the last advantage, of course, is if you were to get a shadow, you have this bypass system in optimizers, just like you do in microinverters, except microinverters inversion happens at the panel level, so you don't need a bypass. But for Tigo, you have this bypass system such that if you get a shadow, the whole string is not stopped, is not slowed down. The whole string is not slowed down by one solar panel, if that makes any sense. And that was a problem with early days installs with central inverters, which had one string, and you put you put thousands, let's say 5,000 watt peak of DC current on a single string, and then you have shadow on one of a panel. And if you have shadow on one of a panel, because it's wired in series, the power of your whole installs go down. So this is what this solves, right? Tigo really solved that. I like Tigo. I like the positioning on Tigo. I like that historically they've had a focus on larger installs, larger commercial installs, and it's still a major focus for them. And I like the niche of this business. This business, I think, as a compelling product, in that it is inverter agnostic. It is not trying to push its own central inverters. You can install that with many installer brands, like for example SMA or Fronius, which are legacy manufacturers of central inverters, and you can pair Tigo with those. You can pair Tigo with any sort of central inverter. You can even go with some of the very inexpensive Chinese inverters, like the EV4 inverters. If you've ever seen those, you can go with those cheap, inexpensive inverters. So anyways, and Tigo, and this is not worry for them, and this will be the same for Canadian Solar when I get to them. They're now trying to get into the residential solar market system. So they've come up with a holistic setup, just like SolarEdge, just like Enphase, and they're trying to get into the SolarEdge system. And what you'll find is that it's the same for Canadian Solar, which really tells a lot about the power of residential solar, and why residential solar, in my view, will be the biggest market. Because where do we have the most space to set up solar panels? Well, it's on our homes' roofs. So I think this is going to be the biggest market, in my view. Anyways, moving on to Sunpower. Oh, and by the way, let me finish with Tigo. Tigo is a small cap. It is dirt cheap. This is my third cheapest stock after StoneCo at this level. It's predicted to grow 96% next 12 months. 96%. So this is a dirt cheap company in this space, entirely ignored. Very few people know about it. And I believe it is an opportunity. Moving on to no investment advice, of course. Moving on to Sunpower. Sunpower, interesting. Sunpower is a company that's an off-brand Enphase, and so they have licensed the Enphase tech. So what they have, and that's why they're more expensive. You can really see the market here a little bit giving a premium for Sunpower, because they are licensed tech from Enphase. What they have is they have the Enphase micro inverters, but they're not branded as Enphase. They're branded as Sunpower, manufactured by Enphase. And as a result of that, they try to be the mini Enphase, and they offer a smaller offering that is very similar to Enphase in many ways. Which in my view is a winning offering. And lastly, what they do is they try to have a major focus on brand new residential construction. As much as 70% of their installs are new residentials, which also I think provides a little bit of a differentiation. I like Sunpower. There are stocks in this spreadsheet, as I've said, that I like more than Sunpower, but I think Sunpower is an interesting play, and I think they have the right technology, because they're following Enphase's lead, right? They are using Enphase's technology, so they're following their lead, which I think is great. Moving on to the last stock, which is a new stock, which tell me in the comment section if you would like me to study a little more of Canadian Solar. This is my first time looking at Canadian Solar. My first feeling when I look at Canadian Solar is that they are dirt cheap. They're highly inexpensive. What is Canadian Solar? They're I'm going to call it a solar conglomerate, because they do a lot of stuff. But they are a solar conglomerate started in 2001, and I'm because they're a Canadian company, I'm calling them the Brookfield of solar. Are they the Brookfield of solar? Because they do a little bit of everything. They do their own modules, their own inverters, their own residential batteries, but they also do utility, commercial, and residential, and they also operate and maintain large projects for utility sector. So they do a little bit of everything. And this is a stock that is also dirt cheap, that I also have a hard time understanding why it is dirt cheap. And I want to do more research on this stock. And let me know if this is something that interests you in the comment section. One of the things that intrigues me when I look about this stock is their debt load. They have, in my view, a fairly heavy debt load. And I think that debt load, I mean, I haven't dug deep into it, but my intuition tells me that that debt load has to do with the utility projects and setting up these utility projects and doing some either some level of long-term financing for themselves or some level of revenue financing. So this is something that I'll look into. If you're interested in Canadian Solar, let me know. All right, these were my 5 hypergrowth solar stocks that I wanted to cover today. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. This was not investment advice. This is just entertainment. I appreciate your likes. I appreciate your subscriptions to my channel. And please follow me on X if you can. Appreciate you all. Thanks for watching.